Every now and then, Destiny drops a build that feels unfair in the best possible way. And this Void Warlock setup is exactly that, because once it comes online, you're walking through activities with a constant stream of weaken effects, Devour uptime that never ends, and a Void Soul that feels like it's doing half the work for you while you casually clean up anything that's still standing. This build hits that perfect sweet spot of survivability, crowd control, and raw damage, letting you delete rooms, sustain endlessly, and play aggressively without ever feeling punished. Welcome to Insightful Gaming, and today we're putting together a Void Warlock build that takes full advantage of some of the strongest interactions this subclass has right now, giving you a gameplay loop that's smooth, fast, and ridiculously fun in everything from solo content to high difficulty activities. And if you want to run this with me, join my Discord in the description, come hang out, run some activities, and feel free to join my clan if you're looking for a fire team. Let's get into the build and show you why this Void setup feels so powerful the moment you start using it. For our exotic armor, we are using Briarbinds, and this exotic is the entire foundation of the build because its perk, One with the Void, dramatically enhances your Void Soul by giving it a much longer duration and letting it ramp up in both damage and durability as it defeats targets, turning it from a simple utility tool into a constantly growing offensive companion. The exotic also lets you retrieve your Void Soul just by interacting with it, so you can redeploy it instantly, meaning you never lose uptime and can reposition it exactly where you need weaken effects to land. Combined with the natural Void Kit and our aspects, Briarbinds ensures that your Void Soul is always active, always pressuring enemies, and always feeding your ability loop, letting you play aggressively while maintaining Devour, weaken chains, and constant utility without ever slowing down. For our weapons, we're starting with Compact Defender because it is one of the strongest primaries you can run in a Void setup right now, giving you destabilizing rounds to spread volatility through entire groups with every kill, and thermal atomization to ramp your damage as heat builds while causing defeated enemies to explode, layering perfectly on top of your weaken effects and Void Soul pressure. For the special slot, we're using the Praxic Blade, which is incredibly strong this season because you can use it as both a sword and a ranged weapon by right-clicking to throw it, letting the blade fly out, seek multiple targets, and then recall back to your hand for instant follow-up attacks, giving you flexible burst damage without compromising your void rotation. And for the heavy slot, we're using the Timelost Corrective Measure, since the combination of Destabilizing Rounds and Demoralize gives you volatile clearing, weaken uptime, and great sustained damage in all activities, though any solid Void Heavy will fit into the build if you prefer a different option. Altogether, these weapons support the playstyle perfectly by stacking explosions, volatility, and weaken effects around your Void Soul's constant pressure. For our subclass, we're running Void Walker, and the entire kit is built to support weaken uptime, Devour chains, and constant ability flow, starting with Nova Bomb Cataclysm as the super for long-range clearing and massive burst damage that pairs perfectly with everything already weakened by your Void Soul. Our class ability is Healing Rift to keep you topped off while your Void Soul and grenades handle the crowd control. And our melee is Pocket Singularity, giving you a ranged Void Blast that both disorients and applies weaken to help trigger Devour and set up your Void Soul interactions. Our grenade of choice is Vortex Grenade because Chaos Accelerant supercharges it into a massive lingering damage zone that stacks perfectly with volatility, weakens, and the Void Soul's pressure. For aspects, we're using Chaos Accelerant, which empowers your grenades and makes them significantly more destructive, and Child of the Old Gods, which sends out your Void Soul whenever you place a rift, letting it latch onto targets, drain them, weaken them, and feed energy back to you. For fragments, we're using Echo of Undermining so your grenades apply weaken, Echo of Remnants to extend the duration of your Vortex grenades, Echo of Persistence to keep Devour and other Void buffs active longer, and Echo of Exchange so melee final blows refund grenade energy. Altogether, this subclass setup keeps your Void Soul active, your grenades empowered, your weaken uptime near constant, and your Devour flowing endlessly. For your stats in this build, you want to prioritize weapon stat first, because once you push it over 100, you not only get faster weapon handling and swaps, you also gain up to a 15% increase in weapon damage, which makes Compact Defender and Praxic Blade hit noticeably harder in every fight. After that, you want to focus on your class ability stats so your Healing Rift comes back quickly to keep your Void Soul active through Child of the Old Gods. And then invest into Grenade stat so your Vortex grenades stay on a tight cooldown and continue feeding weaken effects into your loop. As long as all three break 100, the build stays fast, strong, and fully online from start to finish. For our armor mods, we're building entirely around keeping your Void Soul active, feeding grenade and melee energy, and generating as many orbs of power as possible to maintain Devour and your constant weaken loop. So on the helmet we run Heavy Ammo Finder to keep your heavy weapon supplied, Ashes to assets to convert grenade final blows into super energy, and Harmonic Siphon to generate orbs from rapid void weapon kills. On the gauntlets, we use Firepower to create orbs on grenade kills, Grenade Kickstart to refund energy every time you throw a Vortex grenade, and Bolstering Detonation so any grenade damage feeds class ability energy, letting you place your Rift more often to summon your Void Soul. On the chest piece, you simply equip the defensive resistances suited for your activity to stay safe during aggressive grenade and Void Soul pushes. On the boots, we run Innovation for even more grenade energy from orbs, Recuperation for instant healing on orb pickup, which pairs beautifully with Devour uptime, and Stacks on Stacks to double the armor charges you gain and extend your kickstart efficiency. On the Warlock Bond, we use Bomber to lower grenade cooldown whenever you activate your Rift, Outreach to help feed melee energy when casting Rift, and Reaper to generate an orb of power off your next weapon kill after using your class ability. All of these mods work together to make sure your grenades stay charged, your Rift stays active, your Void Soul stays deployed, and your entire Void toolkit remains constantly cycling no matter how intense the encounter gets. For seasonal mods, we only take the perks that directly amplify our Void Soul, our Weaken Loops, and our Devour uptime, starting with Power from Pain, which is incredibly strong for this setup because rapid final blows against weakened targets grant you Devour, meaning every time your Void Soul, your grenade, or your weapon weakens an enemy, you're only a few kills away from instantly restoring full health and maintaining perfect survivability in any activity. Next, we pick up Singularity Blade, which becomes especially strong if you decide to weave Praxic Blade into your rotation. Because while you have a Void Elemental buff, your melee and sword hits weaken enemies, and any melee or sword final blow creates a weakening burst, allowing you to spread weaken effects across entire groups without relying solely on grenades or Void Soul targeting. And finally, we take Void Infestation from the last column, which causes any defeated weakened enemy to spawn a tracking projectile that flies out to weaken more targets, giving you a constant chain reaction of weaken effects bouncing around the battlefield and feeding both your Devour uptime and your fragment bonuses. This Void Warlock build turns every fight into a controlled storm of weaken effects, Devour healing, and non-stop Void Soul pressure, letting you play aggressively while staying incredibly safe and melting entire rooms with almost no effort. If you want to run this build with me, join the Discord in the description, come play some activities, and feel free to join my clan if you're looking for teammates. Thanks for watching Insightful Gaming, and I'll see you in the next one.